Have you ever stopped to consider what it would feel like if nobody needed you, if you weren't required by anybody? It might sound selfish, self-centered, maybe even cold, but there is a lot of freedom in knowing that you are enough just as you are, that you don't need anyone's approval or attention to feel validated because you're already whole. And one of the ways you can start embodying this truth is by not always being available, emotionally, mentally, or physically. Not being available all the time for everyone is a revolutionary act. It dismantles the societal conditioning that tells us we must bend over backwards to be of service to others. We must be selfless, sacrificing our own needs and desires at the altar of other people's convenience. But here's the thing. When we constantly give in to these demands, we inadvertently communicate that we don't value our own time, energy, or emotional space. And that sends a message to the world that it's okay to treat us like doormats, to wipe their dirty feet on our kindness and understanding. But it doesn't have to be this way. When we refuse to be available all the time, we begin to reclaim our power and establish healthier boundaries. The world may not be ready for this, but you have to be willing to do it anyway. Not being available all the time doesn't mean you're being selfish, inconsiderate, or uncaring. It simply means you're prioritizing your own well-being and establishing healthy boundaries. You see, when we're constantly at everyone's beck and call, we're essentially giving away our most valuable assets, our time, energy, and emotional resources. In doing so, we slowly erode our sense of self-worth and identity. We become so focused on meeting the needs of others that we neglect our own goals, dreams, and aspirations. This lack of balance can lead to resentment, exhaustion, and a feeling of being trapped in a cycle of obligation and duty. We start to resent those who take advantage of our availability and exhaust ourselves trying to meet their demands. At the same time, we also resent ourselves for allowing this situation to continue. Not being available all the time is a powerful way to break free from this cycle. It allows us to reclaim our time, energy, and emotional space. And when we do this, something remarkable happens. The world is forced to meet us on our terms, not the other way around. Imagine for a moment the kind of impact this can have on your life. You no longer have to spend your days and nights catering to the whims of others, sacrificing your own needs and desires in the process. Instead, you can dedicate your time and energy to pursuing your own goals, nurturing your relationships, and living a life that is true to who you are. When you stop being available all the time, you send a clear message to the world that you value your time and energy. This alone can be a game changer in your relationships. Suddenly, the people in your life who once took you for granted start treating you with more respect and consideration. They realize that you're not always going to be there for them no matter how needy or demanding they may be. And this realization can be a powerful motivator for change. It can inspire them to become more mindful of how they treat you, more appreciative of the time and energy you do offer, and more respectful of your boundaries. Now, this may come as a surprise to some of you, but it is an undeniable truth. When you stop being available all the time, you begin to exude an aura of self-confidence and this newfound self-assurance can be incredibly attractive to others, drawing them to you and inspiring them to treat you with the respect and admiration you deserve. It acts like a magnet that draws people towards you and compels them to treat you with the reverence you have always deserved. However, let me be clear, when I talk about not being available all the time, I'm not suggesting that you should withdraw from the world or abandon your relationships. That would be counterproductive and ultimately harmful to both you and those around you. What I am advocating for is the practice of setting healthy boundaries and making conscious choices about where and how you invest your time and energy. For instance, you might decide to limit the hours you are available to work or to set aside specific blocks of time in your day to disconnect from your devices and be fully present in the moment. You might also choose to say no to certain requests or invitations in order to make room for your own needs and priorities. Perhaps you want to spend a certain number of hours each week on personal projects or self-care activities. Maybe you want to invest more time in your health, taking long walks in nature or practicing yoga and meditation. The possibilities are endless, really. The key is to find a balance that works for you and to stick to it as much as possible. Of course, there will be times when you need to be flexible and make exceptions. Life is unpredictable and sometimes things will come up that require your attention outside of your normal routines. But these should be the exceptions, not the norm. Remember, it's not selfish to prioritize your own well-being. In fact, it's essential. When you take care of yourself, you're better able to take care of others. You're more patient, more empathetic, and more understanding. Furthermore, when you stop being available all the time, you also begin to grow in your relationships. Suddenly, the people in your life who truly value and respect you will be drawn to you even more. They will appreciate the depth and quality of your presence in their lives, knowing that when you are there for them, it is because you genuinely want to be. Respect from others begins with and when you stop being available all the time, you are showing yourself and others that you deserve to be respected. You are worthy of love and attention, but you won't settle for just any kind. You won't waste your time on people or relationships that are no longer serving you. Instead, you will invest your energy in those who reciprocate your respect and kindness, who honor your boundaries and support your goals. So if you've been feeling burned out, taken for granted, or unappreciated in your relationships, it might be time to try something new. Start by setting small but meaningful boundaries. See how it feels to say no to a request or to take some time for yourself without feeling guilty. Notice how others respond to these changes and how it affects your overall well-being. You might be surprised at the positive impact it can have on your life. Remember, when you stop being available all the time, you are not rejecting the world or the people in it. You are simply choosing to prioritize your own well-being and to make room for what truly matters to you. You are reclaiming your power and establishing healthy boundaries. And in doing so, you are inviting the world to meet you on your terms, not the other way around. And here's the beautiful part. As you continue to grow and evolve, your circle will naturally narrow. The people who once fit into your life may no longer do so as you transform into someone new. This is not a bad thing. It simply means that you are becoming more authentically you. Your true friends and loved ones will understand this and will be there to support and encourage you on your journey. Those who don't understand or who are not willing to respect your boundaries will gradually fade away. And you know what? That's okay. In fact, it's a good thing. When we stop being available all the time, we force the world to make room for us. We become more intentional with our time and energy. We become more present in our relationships and more attuned to our own needs and desires. We become more fulfilled, more joyful, and more at peace with ourselves and our place in the world. So the next time you feel tempted to put someone else's needs ahead of your own, or to sacrifice your own goals and dreams for someone else's, remember this: you are enough just as you are. You don't need anyone's approval or attention to feel validated. And you certainly don't need to be at everyone's beck and call to be a good friend or a loving partner. You are a complete and whole human being, deserving of respect, kindness, and love. And when you start to believe this, when you start to embody this truth, when you stop being available all the time, the world will be forced to make room for you. The world will be forced to meet you on your terms, not the other way around. So go ahead, make the choice to prioritize your own work. Make the choice to establish healthy boundaries and to make room for what truly matters to you. And watch as your life transforms before your very eyes. And here's a bonus. If you're finding this advice helpful, please share it with others. Help spread this message of self-love and empowerment. Who knows, you might just change someone's life in the process. Thank you for watching, and until next time, may you find joy, peace, and fulfillment on your journey towards self-discovery and personal growth.